Alright, so this video is going to have 4 mini lessons inside of it. In the first, I'm going to define what a conjugation is. Then I'm going to explain what types of different conjugations there are. Third part, I'm going to explain why you should care about conjugations and why they're valuable. And in the fourth part, I'm going to explain how you do conjugation so that you're ready for the next lesson where we're going to conjugate ser and estar. The word conjugation sounds scary and foreign, but we actually do this in English too, and you do this every single time you start talking. So first, let's review 2 important English rules that you already know. Number 1, a verb is an action word or something you can do, like talk. Number 2, you can change action verbs so that it shows who is doing the action and when that action happened. This is conjugation. Conjugation is changing a verb so that it shows who or what is doing an action and when that action was happening. Now, a conjugation can either be regular or irregular. A regular verb can be conjugated using a simple set of rules. So like the word talk. It's I talk, you talk, we talk, they talk, y'all talk, but then it's he or she talks. If we want to make it past tense, it's talked, and then there's the progressive talking. This is a regular verb because each of these versions still look like siblings to one another. Like you can see that they're all closely related. There's just a different ending depending on who is doing it and when it was happening. With regular verbs, we can take these exact same ending rules and apply them to a bunch of other verbs. So like, likes, liked, liking, subscribe, subscribes, subscribed, subscribing. See what I did there? Okay, I'm sure you see the pattern now. So with an irregular verb, the difference is that there is no pattern. It's just kind of random. A good example of this in English is the verb to be. Be becomes am, is, are, were, was, been, and being. So these are more like step siblings. You can kind of see some similarities between them if you squint, but these don't look the same, and you would have never thought that these went together unless you already knew. You can't just apply a rule and then figure out what these are. You just have to memorize them. So like a lot of y'all watching, I did take Spanish classes in school. I didn't learn anything from them, and I think a part of why that is because they didn't teach me this really valuable thing about conjugations that I think would have really changed how I felt about having to do it. So for me, I had always felt like having to do all those conjugations was so tedious and confusing, and I didn't really understand it most of the time. And so for me, once I finally learned this really amazing thing about Spanish conjugations, it really changed the way I looked at it. And that thing is this. In English, the conjugated verb alone won't tell you who I'm talking about. It really only tells you how many people were involved. So here's what I mean. If I said are hungry, who am I talking about? I could mean y'all are hungry, they are hungry, you are hungry, we are hungry. Without a subject, we don't know. That is the beauty of Spanish conjugations. Because Spanish has more conjugations for more people, you often don't even have to say who you're talking about because the verb already does it for you. Alright, so as we already learned in a previous lesson, there are a different set of ways that you refer to different people. Yo, tú, usted, él, ella, nosotros, nosotras, which I forgot to mention because that one is we as in a group of females only. So I obviously don't get to use that because we would include me, and I'm not a woman, so I can't use nosotras. Anyway, so nosotros, nosotras, ellos, ellas, ustedes. Here is the most important part of this video. So if you remember nothing else from this video, please at least remember this. Each of these people follow different rules to be conjugated. So yo will have its own set of rules, then tú will have its own set of rules, él, ella, and usted will all follow the same set of rules. So even though we learned in one of our previous videos that tú and usted both mean you, they're conjugated differently because usted is kind of like referring to somebody in the third person. So it gets conjugated the same way that you conjugate he and she. Nosotros and nosotras have their own conjugations, and then ellos, ellas, and ustedes have their own same set of conjugations. Where there's a blank spot on the table, that's where vosotros would go, but we're not going to learn that. As I mentioned in another video, that's typically used in Spain and some other countries, but because it's not used everywhere, I'm not going to bother teaching it to you guys, because then that's just another conjugation you have to memorize, so it'll save us all time and effort to just not. For every single conjugation that we do going forward, you're going to see this table, so just make sure that you are familiar with it and that you understand who each little box belongs to. Alright, so that is everything for this lesson. Now that you know what a conjugation is, in the next lesson we're going to learn how to conjugate the first two verbs that we learned, which was ser and estar, and we're also going to learn several sentences so that you'll be able to talk about who you are in Spanish, where you are, and how you feel. So stay tuned. Gracias por estar aquí. Hasta la próxima.